2022 NASCAR Highlights. As the NASCAR 2022 season comes to a close, let's look back on the top NASCAR moments of 2022. We have compiled a list of honorable mentions who are on the verge of making the cut, so stay tuned to The Racing Rush until the end as we whittle this list of highlights for you. Starting with number 10, the King of the South. Richard Petty's number 43 car had won many times on many tracks in the Southeast, but it had been a very long time since the King's car had won at the South's first major speedway. Since 1967, when Petty won the Southern 500 for the first and only time as a driver, his car had not won at Darlington Raceway. But in the first race of the NASCAR playoffs, Erik Jones wrote a new chapter in his car's long history. Jones moved up to second place after a quick pit stop during the final caution. When Kyle Busch's engine blew, he took the lead, and he held off a hard-charging Denny Hamlin in the last laps to win his second Southern 500 and end a 3-year winless streak for himself and an 8-year winless streak for the Petty number 43. Jones's victory was the first win for Petty GMS and the 200th win for the King's number 43. Number 9 is the justification for Bubba Wallace. In the fall of 2021, Bubba Wallace won the first race of his career at Talladega. This was a turning point in the Alabama driver's career, and for NASCAR, he was the first black driver to win a Cup Series race in the modern era of the sport. But some people try to ignore and discredit Wallace's first win because it was a race that was cut short by rain. During the first half of 2022, Wallace's critics made a lot of noise because he and his race team were inconsistent. But in the second half of the season, everything started to work. Wallace got 3 top 5 finishes, 8 top 10s, and his first pole position. Then, in the Kansas race, he led the last 43 laps to win his second Cup race and left his haters with nothing to say about how he did it. The win was even better because it gave 23XI Racing a season sweep of the 2 Kansas races. Wallace won in the number 45 car that Kurt Busch had driven in the spring race. Busch got a concussion at Pocono that ended his last season, which made Wallace's win for his race team even happier. Next on our list at number 8, a resounding win for Suarez. Daniel Suarez worked hard for years to stay on championship-level teams, and in 2022, his hard work paid off with the best season of his career. Suarez had a career-best 6 top 5 finishes and 13 top 10s as part of Trackhouse Racing's second-year jump. His best moment was when he won his first race at Sonoma in June. Suarez became the first Mexican-born driver and the 5th foreign-born driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series race. Number 7 is Chase Elliott calms down NASCAR at Talladega. Talladega Superspeedway's fall race was held under a fog of uncertainty and dread unseen in many years. After 2 drivers were hurt at Texas Motor Speedway the week before, including Alex Bowman, who got a concussion in what seemed to be a minor accident, alarm bells went off about the safety of the next-gen car. Drivers' long season frustrations with the car's rigidity on impact boiled over in the media. All of that was made worse by the idea of Talladega, NASCAR's fastest and most dangerous track. But what came after a week full of tension was a thrilling and safe race from start to finish. The lead changed hands 57 times. On the last lap, Chase Elliott got a push from Erik Jones to move ahead of Ryan Blaney and win his 5th race of the season. Next, a rookie winning Daytona. On his way up in NASCAR, Austin Cindric was mostly known as a road racer by trade and because he was driving for Team Penske as the son of team president Tim Cindric. Now he will always be known as a winner of the Daytona 500 and one of the most impressive young winners in the history of the great American race. Austin Cindric led the Daytona 500 for 21 laps in the final stages of the race, which was the first race of his rookie season. On the last lap, he drove defensively to hold off Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, and Bubba Wallace, and win his first Cup race in the biggest race of them all. Cindric won his first Cup Series race in the Daytona 500, which made him the 9th driver in history to do that. He then went on to have a rookie season in which he had 5 top 5 finishes, 9 top 10s, and finished 12th in the championship standings, which earned him Rookie of the Year honors. Coming up next at number 5, Bristol's Dirt Dust-Up. When the front 2 cars are fighting hard for the win, 3rd place is often the best place to be in case the 1st and 2nd crash into each other. That's exactly what happened at this year's Bristol Dirt Race to the benefit of one Kyle Busch. Chase Briscoe tried to take the lead with a last-ditch slide job on Tyler Reddick going into the last turn, but he couldn't make it work, and he hit Reddick in the left rear, spitting both of their cars out. Reddick straightened out his car and tried to speed back to the finish line to win his first Cup race, but he couldn't do it in time. Kyle Busch went from being a distant 3rd to beating Reddick at the start-finish line to win his first and only race of the 2022 season. Up next, we've got Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon was one of over a dozen drivers who needed to win the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona to qualify for the NASCAR playoffs as the season came to a close. Dillon's chance came with 23 laps to go when he went through a field-clearing collision in Turn 1 that began when the lead pack drove into a pop-up shower that turned into a major downpour that delayed the race for several hours. If the storm had ended the race early, Dillon would have won. However, the skies eventually cleared and Daytona was soon dry, which meant that Dillon would have to win the race to the finish to get into the playoffs. And he did just that by taking the lead from Austin Cindric with 3 laps to go and then holding off Landon Castle, Noah Gragson, Cody Ware, and BJ McLeod, among others, for a walk-off victory that gave him the right to compete for the 2022 championship. At number 3, let's talk about Ross Chastain. Earlier in the season, it was clear that Chastain would soon win his first Cup Series race. He led 125 laps in 3 races and finished 3rd at Las Vegas, 2nd at Phoenix, and 3rd in Atlanta. It would happen at Circuit of the Americas, and the way it did set the tone for who Chastain was and what kind of force he would be in his breakout season. Chastain was in the lead for 30 of the 68 laps going into the final lap, but a hard-charging A.J. Allmendinger pushed him out of the way at the exit of Turn 16. On the last lap, Chastain had to get the lead back. Alex Bowman was coming up fast and about to take the win from both of them, so Chastain took his first Cup Series to win back by force. He gave Allmendinger the bump and run in Turn 19, pushing him into Bowman and spinning him into the gravel trap. Chastain then drove back for his first Cup win and the first victory for Trackhouse Racing. Second on our list is double grabbing it. Christopher Bell's 2022 season will be remembered more for the fact that he won a race when it was his only chance to move on in the NASCAR playoffs, not once, but twice. This is more important than the fact that he had a career-high 3 wins, 12 top 5s, and 20 top 10s on his way to coming in 3rd in the championship standings. After having problems at Texas and Talladega, Bell was in a make-or-break situation at the Charlotte Roval. He stepped up to the challenge by using 4 new tires to get through 2 chaotic restarts and take the lead and the win in overtime to move on. Then, a crash at Las Vegas put Bell in a big points hole going into the round of 8 finale in Martinsville. Again, Bell used fresher tires in the last laps to win, which moved him from the edge of elimination to a spot in the championship 4. Last on our list is Hail Melon. No one will ever forget what Ross Chastain did at the final corner of Martinsville. On the last lap, Chastain was running far behind in 10th place. Denny Hamlin was running well ahead of him and was sure to make it to the championship 4 on points. Out of time and options, Chastain had no choice but to put his car in 5th gear, put his foot on the gas, and try to ride the wall at full speed. Chastain moved up 5 spots in 1 corner and beat Hamlin to the finish line, coming in 4th and earning the last spot in the championship 4 by 1 point. Chastain's video game move, which was patented on the Nintendo GameCube, was more than just the most exciting thing to happen in NASCAR in 2022. It also went beyond the sport, getting millions and millions of views on social media, bringing the humble watermelon farmer from Florida worldwide attention, and giving him a fitting nickname, the Hail Melon. So what are your favorite NASCAR memories from 2022? Let us know in the comments section below. And that's all for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll see even more of our videos on NASCAR updates.